just crazy. God, please watch over my family.
Wait. What?
Welcome. I just landed in my helicopter. Sorry about that. We're live from Union Station in Chicago, Illinois, where we have been covering the mostly under 30 people protesting. There's not a lot of old people out here protesting. So that's what's happening with us.
Yes, and as you may know, the heiress to the Walmart fortune is behind a lot of promoting the No King's Day thing. So we're going to talk about something else today. But if you do have a Walmart subscription, you might want to cancel it.
They're working against you.
They're working against you.
So welcome to the podcast. I know we haven't done a podcast in a while because we hadn't had any real pertinent information. But before Natasha starts with the thing we're doing here, the turkey, I just want to say that, Jewish activism isn't something we wanted to do. Really, we were musicians and we were activists, but in a different way. We were busy just living our lives.
Basically just for freedom in general.
Yeah, basically just for freedom. But now activism has taken a different turn. And, we don't want attention. We're not trying to sell albums. We're not trying to do anything but prevent another Holocaust, raise the profile of the Jew, and bring Jews together that are tough and believe in Hashem and who would be willing to fight for Torah and willing to go out there and not be scared. Okay.
Right.
Now, so far, we've met probably about 3 of you guys.
We've met a small handful. Yeah.
Small handful of people.
4, 5.
Small handful of people who are like that and have that DNA. A lot of these people want nothing to do with, our group because, we have a rabbi. Your groups don't have any religious leaders connected to your groups.
Some people want to do whatever.
They want to do whatever. We want to follow Torah.
We have discipline. One of our primary, aspects of the 5 points of the JDL is discipline.
Yeah, definitely.
So
with that said, I just wanted to say that, I've been accused. Someone accused me online and said, "Oh, you're just trying to promote an album. That's why you're doing what you're doing." And I says, "No, I don't want to do this at all. I wish you would just shut the fuck up and leave everybody alone."
We actually sell a lot less albums because we get involved in this type of stuff.
We're blacklisted. The Jews run the music industry, but somehow we can't get an album out in the last 25 years. So you're being lied to.
Let's talk about.
Welcome to the podcast of truth. Today we're going to talk about
what kind of Jews are in the music industry.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about a group from New York City that is known as Betar.
Betar USA.
Betar was actually a group founded in 1927 by Fyodor Jabotinsky, who was, one of the founders of the state of Israel, one of the guys who came up with the idea for it.
He was a very strong early Zionist.
He was a proto-Zionist. Not like the guys we have today, but he was a guy who had high hopes for the state of Israel stuff. Long story short, Betar has shown up, and they believe that they are active in 35 cities worldwide. The leader, Ron, is
the American leader.
Yeah,
let's separate. First, let's make a clear definition between Betar has been functioning outside of the United States consistently, but as a small kind of social group for Zionist Jews. It was not really like a huge protest thing. His version of Betar became this counter protest the Palestinians
and run back to Israel
and make Aliyah, and that's what their primary thing is like facilitating Aliyah and counter protesting pro-Palestine.
So some of you, I had a lady from Betar call me a grifter. and say that I was a opportunist. And I was just like to say here, real clear, that we didn't want to do activism ever. We wanted to do music.
Yeah,
And
but people keep getting hurt,
yeah,
and we keep seeing them doing things that we know better. So why not tell them the way to not get hurt?
and because it's part of being a good Jew, just do the mitzvah to protect your brothers and sisters and say
Right.
something if you
So-
know something.
In that same vein, some might have accused us, even though they're not religious crowds, so they probably wouldn't. But some religious people, upon happening upon such a broadcast, might initially think that it's some type of lashon hara, that it's speaking badly. But in this case, it is
This
not
story
considered
is-
lashon hara
Right.
if you are warning people of
Yeah.
a dangerous person.
So yeah, so that's
And that is the
sum up here.
purpose of this broadcast.
We want to warn people about this person. His name is Ron Torasian, right? We've done this before. I think we had it before, but now new information was sent to
Right.
us.
Previously, we were warning people about the bad tactics and methods that Batar USA was using on the streets,
Getting people arrested,
getting people arrested, getting people hurt,
screaming at mosques.
and we were trying to tell people how to do
Excuse me.
safer
At the
and
masjid.
smarter activism. Yeah, don't go
At the
screaming at
masjid,
the
don't go
masjid.
screaming Muhammad was a pedo at the masjid. That's what Batar thinks is appropriate.
Yeah,
And they would put a JDL mask on, like they proved when they post pictures of people wearing JDL stuff, and they act like it's no big deal. But he calls Natasha that strange woman, and he has really horrible interactions with her back to back. And
yeah. Well, I am
refuses to do any
unfortunately
work with
strange.
her
I
at all.
wish that my attitude was more common and less strange.
Well, you're strange, but I'm a boxer. Really beats me.
So
I'm gonna box his fucking ears because
recently,
he stepped into my right.
Batar has organized counter protest to the anti-ICE protest, which of course is foolish. This will only make people think that Jews are behind the Trump deportations.
That's the goal anyway with this guy. to stir everything up.
Actually, was one of them was last night. I didn't see any news
Well,
from it, and one is on Saturday.
Officially, we don't. What ICE is doing is arresting people who have a criminal record and people who are working and living here illegally. That's
Right. You already
got nothing to
voted.
do with
If you
Jews.
voted for Trump, you already voted,
For
and that was your
yeah,
protest.
that
You don't
was
need to counter protest
no.
the people protesting the thing where you won.
100.
You sound
100,
stupid. Okay, but not only that. So obviously, people are going to be blaming the Jews for the deportations. The more stuff like that happens, and we see that too. Fuck ICE, Zionist graffiti, stuff like that. However, I was looking into the gentleman, and I use this term loosely as possible, and I realized that he's not just bad at activism. I think he may be doing it on purpose.
Yep. He's throwing the fight, Johnny.
And,
He's throwing the fight, Johnny.
and I think that some of these things need to be heard by our Jewish
Audience.
the
Those of you, our
listenership.
people we make the podcast for, we know you're listening, and
Okay.
you should pay attention.
So
Start with the first
I'm
point
going to first
in the bullet.
go. This will get deeper and deeper. So we'll start with the light stuff. Is that, for example, this article from the American Conservative: Meet the Flack who bridges Trump world and big porn. Flack is an industry term for a PR guy, a guy who goes around and essentially acts as a barker for whatever product or person, whatever. Okay. Mueller's witnesses firm runs interference for Pornhub, accused of profiting from rape. And then it has a big picture of Ron Tarasian with a cocktail glass in the air. This references an investigation by Business Insider, but essentially this is laying out how he was the PR exec for Pornhub and its parent company, MindGeek.
And then
A mega corporation publicly exposed for complicity in child trafficking and the monetization of child rape.
yep, there you go.
Okay, Tarasian and 5W should be ashamed of their actions, says Lila Micklethwaite, founder of the Trafficking Hub campaign, a group that was fighting against human trafficking that was going through Pornhub. Okay, that's the light stuff. Let's get deeper.
Let's go to the turkey.
Hold on, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Here's another article. I want to say the titles of these so people can look them up. The bad boy of buzz and his PR problem. Ron Tarasian's 5W represents rappers and evangelicals, but blue chip clients are more elusive. So it tells me in this article, it is behind a paywall, that he also represented Girls Gone Wild, which of course we know was accused again of abuse and rape. And then I noticed that the pro-Palestine side likes to paint him as this hardcore right-wing extremist and all this stuff because Bitar says Jews fight back or whatever. But then I see him doing articles like pro-Israel advocates should stand up and support Ted Cruz's gay host on jns.org. This is an article by Ron Tarasian. Another article by Ron Tarasian. Beverly Hills Hotel and the NYC Roadrunners, two sides of the same anti-gay coin. Very involved in gay advocacy, this guy. And then there's another article from Business Insider. Pornhub and the popular site's mysterious executives. And that goes into how essentially, most likely his company created these people, but there's a bunch of fake executives for Pornhub that were people that did not exist in order to create legal loopholes for them to be searching and trying to contact those people instead of the real people who were guilty. So all of that led me when I said trafficking. What? So I'll play this right
Life
now.
is crazy.
What was that? That is Puff Daddy with Ron Tarasian. You want to look at it again?
Life is crazy. God, please watch over my family.
So not only is he tied to human trafficking, accusations of rape, but now we know this guy is torturing, raping, and this guy is good friends with him. In fact, a close associate referred to Tarasian as one of his top 5 confidants and personal counsels. So that already looks bad enough for the Jews in general when they say that Jews are pornographers, Jews are doing human trafficking, Jews, all of these accusations, everything that they leveled at Drake in the recent Kendrick Lamar song is being done by this one man, Ron Tarasian. It's not the Jews.
And
it's
he's trying to
control,
and he's trying to control the underground activism world with money. And he's been doing it so far. They've got 4,000 followers on their Instagram page, which is more than Jewish Breaking News has. I believe.
Now,
you know what I mean?
I'm not just warning you to avoid a man of low moral character. No. I'm saying that he's involved in potentially very dangerous illegal activities that are hurting a lot of people. But then I come across this article from Armenian Weekly. And let me tell you, groundbreaking, mind-blowing
expose
piece. And this dude didn't even mean to do this with the article. Okay. This is the thing. So, okay, let me tell you, it's in a paper called ArmenianWeekly.com. Armenian Weekly. This is the title of the article. The father and the grandparents of Turkey's newest U.S. PR firm CEO, Ron Tarasian, are Armenian. And the purpose of this article is to say, essentially, as an Armenian, why is this guy who has an Armenian last name supporting and promoting Turkey, as we know the history of the Turks and the Armenians and the Armenian genocide, okay? Let me read you the first line of this article, which just blew my mind. And I already thought of this guy, Ron, as a bad guy, but this blew my mind. Last week, I wrote a column about Ron Tarosian, the president of 5W public relations firm in New York City, who had signed a contract for $60,000 to do PR work for the Republic of Turkey in the United States. Let me read that again. Ron Tarosian, president of 5W public relations firm in New York City, had signed a contract for $60,000 to do PR work for the Republic of Turkey in the United States.
That ain't a gobbler. We're talking about a place that's very anti-Israel, a place that has politicians that speak regularly against Israel and its leaders, probably make the neighborhood unsafe.
So the article goes on, and it belies a little bit about the personality of this individual. Let's go on with the article. The article goes on to read, I wrote that I did not know whether Tarosian was an ethnic Armenian or simply had an Armenian last name, since some Jews and Iranians also have Armenian last names. Before writing this previous column, I had attempted to contact him and had left 2 voicemail messages at his office, but he did not return any of my phone calls. Sounds familiar. After writing that column, I received several emails and phone calls from Mr. Tarosian. However, he requested that our phone conversation be off the record. I also received many emails and phone calls from Armenians around the world who knew the Tarosian family. I'm not going to read all of it, but essentially that he was informed by a Canadian Armenian, a former resident of Jerusalem, that Ron's father had married a Jewish woman. So, okay, according to this, they think he's Jewish. But I'm not going to read everything he wrote, but there's a large amount of contact from Ron essentially saying that he says, I am Jewish, I am American born, raised in a Jewish household. I do not and never have considered myself to be Armenian. So this is why he's comfortable working for Turkey, because he denies any Armenian heritage. He outright rejects it and will contact people telling them to take down the article saying that he's even part Armenian for some reason. I don't know what that reason is.
Some kind of mental illness.
Maybe it's that side of his family he doesn't like or something like that. Whatever it is, he's working for Turkey.
Okay.
He's doing PR to make Turkey look good in America.
Okay, so there you go. And now you can go ahead and tell everybody that this is our accusation and that we're a bunch of grifters who don't know shit. No, we're a bunch of people that are backing up a rabbi who came out during these times to give you all a beautiful message. And you know what you do? You ignore him and you slander us. You make fun of our other rabbi who was killed. You guys are disgusting. What is wrong with you? I use that.
I mean, but this
come on, for real.
This is what.
How are you human?
This is the guy that everybody's supporting instead of JDL.
Well, and it's not that we want JDL support.
Hold on.
We want New York JDL to rise up, and we can't, because so far we've had 7 or 8 different people connected to this person who have infiltrated us and wasted our time out there. We've got people who are making security risks out there that are obviously connected to him, and they don't want anything real going on. They want to control the narrative and control the activism, and they have a stranglehold and a bottleneck. New York, time to wake up. You guys ain't got nobody in your corner. Nobody.
Batar is never going to do anything good for the Jewish people. Every dollar of this is built out of sin.
Exactly.
Every dollar that this man puts behind anything is ill-gotten gains from pornography, human traffickers, Turkish fucking genocidal maniacs. This is crazy that this guy is somehow the guy for Jewish activism in New York right now. No wonder
the East Coast, dude, he's running the whole fucking.
No wonder New York is in the shape that it's in, and this guy Zoran Mandani has anything like a fucking campaign going right now. It's because of this nonsense. This is insane that nobody checked who this guy was before they started following him around, sending him thousands of dollars. All of this money
Going
that
to
he has,
protest in the street for him.
$60,000 just from Turkey. How many guns could he have bought for the Jews in New York? Could have gave them all classes on how to get their licenses and then had a gun waiting for them at the end of the license.
Erdogan, you dirty motherfucker. We told you that we respected you. Now look at this shit. You dirty motherfucker. You're going to fucking pay for this shit now.
This is
dirty
some
motherfucker.
Turkish cockroachery.
It is.
If I have ever
and this
seen
is a
any.
swing on us. This is not the other way around. We didn't go after them. This is America.
And well, we did try. Look, full disclosure. Maybe you don't understand the background. We tried to be friends with and promote
we
Batar.
Tried to swell the ranks of Batar.
Initially, because the guy was all over social media talking about Jews fight back, and they were having some bad OPSEC, and they were having some bad methods. So we tried to go and give them a little bit of pointers, and they acted like we were insulting them or something. Banned us, blocked us on every platform on the social media. The guy doesn't respond to texts or anything we tell him about anti-Semitic things happening in his own neighborhood. He doesn't respond, doesn't say anything about that. Instead, focuses on chasing around teenage Palestinian protesters with cameras and getting people who follow him around arrested.
And he's trying to ride hard.
I have heard people that teach martial arts and self-defense offer to him, and he was not interested.
Well, guess what, Mr. Ron? Battle of
I don't
Berkeley,
know what game he's
the
playing.
Battle of Seattle, and all these. We've been here all along, motherfucker, since the 1990s. And so you wonder why people don't want to talk about who we are. Look around. But you know who we are? We bring the truth. This is the truth. And we're telling you right now, if you don't listen and you don't take it, that's you.
I can't accept somebody who took money from the Turkish government for the purpose of making their government look good. Not like, oh, I took money from the Turkish government to bring the people water or something that you had some sort of moral basis for. You want to make this terrible government look good, and you're taking money to do that. You're evil, it's ill-gotten gains, and you're not a Jewish leader. Period.
Yeah.
I will not accept, I reject his leadership in any way, shape, or form.
And the rest
I
of
accepted
the
before that he was the leader of a certain type of secular Zionist, but no, now he is not the leader of anything. He's a fool and he's duping people.
As far as the rest of the organization goes, we have nothing to do with them. And unless they come and talk to me, we will leave it that way. Because we're not dealing with any more fake motherfuckers who want to waste everyone's time and not do anything real. We're out here telling people, yeah, maybe you should go back to the synagogue. How about watch the parsha from the rabbi? And he's going, no, stand in the street and do what the government tells you.
Yeah.
So wake the fuck up, people.
Wake up,
wake
guys.
up, New York. And before it's too fucking late,
this guy,
you'll hear this
the
podcast
Turkish government is paying for you to get arrested.
Yeah, Porto and Turkish government. Just fucking wake the hell up, man. Don't let them control the narrative.
This is a sad. This is not just dangerous, it's sad. It's a sad commentary on the state of the Jews today.
You're not going to follow around and not be smart and look at who this is. This is worse than Nazism. This is horrible, nasty. This is like a demon of the World War II,
Yeah.
Who knows who was relative? Probably worse gimmicks than him.
Well, look, first of all, that's weird to deny strongly any part of your ethnic background.
And remember, just so I made it clear though in the podcast, I am going to beat the shit out of this guy when I fucking catch him. I don't care if anyone says
he's not going
I will
to
spend
be
the night in jail. We will see about that.
He's in an ivory.
We will see about that.
Look up the address for his office. It's literally an ivory tower. It's a white tower, and he's on like the 23rd floor. He's literally in an ivory tower.
He's not untouchable. None of these motherfuckers are. They think they are. They're not untouchable.
And I really thought he was just a bad activist, but now I feel that he's working for the other side.
I'm smoking
he's working for the other side, and
well, the other side is profiting.
It breaks my heart how many people fell for this motherfucker.
Well, it's the same thing with a lot of other stuff. They do this all the time. They want to keep the narrative the way they want. They don't want people rocking the boat.
Once again, the Jews fall for a false messiah.
Yeah. And when they're warned, they lash out at the people who warn them. So it's challenging Torah. So it's going to be tough. Let them lash out. Lash out all you want. You'll be lashing out, crying in your bed someday. You know?
Diddy, porn, turkey.
This is
Girls
what's going
Gone
to help us
Wild.
after October 7th.
This
Really?
is,
This is really going to
this
help
is-
us after
I'm-
October 7th?
I have
In the state
my
of Israel and
head
the
in my
government,
hands.
if you're paying attention to this and you didn't look him up and you didn't warn him, you guys were just as guilty now for this as you were October 7th.
And now he
Because
claims,
you didn't protect us from either one.
and he claims he
So until you
represents
fix these
Likud.
kind of things, you ain't gonna have any seriousness coming from our
He
side.
claims he
ever.
represents the Likud.
I know. Well, he says that here.
He says that,
knows
but
if
what
he
I'm
does?
saying, so people are going to believe him.
And
Some
he's
of them,
compared to Netanyahu, yeah. Oh, porn and human trafficking, racist.
yeah,
right?
just link in Israel and pro-Jewish activism with every negative stereotype they've ever said about a Jew, ever. Selling out your people for money, pornography, abuse of children. What was the other one?
The gaslight is a major gaslight.
Every-
You better have your hands because it's fucking deep shit, man.
I wish I had a bigger palm for my face to go into, folks, because this is some sad shit. Okay. I call upon all serious people who are wrapped up with Batard to start something new.
Start something new. Yeah.
Start your own group. Leave off from him. Y'all met in a WhatsApp group from some crazy guy, and now you can go forward and do something better because that you got to get away from
You
him.
poisoned
You
it.
have to get
This
away
is why
from
we're
him.
not fighting back.
You people, you need to get away from this guy.
Everybody go back to Israel and shit.
Yeah, make Aliyah now. Never mind the people who still live all around the world as Jews.
Never mind the old people who can't make Aliyah. Leave them here, right? That's what he's saying. What about the diaspora who says, you're Hashem and you should tell us what to do? He put us in the diaspora for a fucking reason. He put you in Israel for a fucking reason. How about put the two together and leave it the fuck alone?
Ugh.
You know? These people act like they've never read the Bible. They read Shakespeare. You know?
Well, that's what Rabbi
I'm
Schifrin
embarrassed.
talked about, how they didn't know Tanakh, they knew Mozart, you know. But this is, don't go to this guy's stuff.
It's not about just don't go this guy's stuff.
Don't support
Everybody
it.
wake the fuck up. Why are we the only two voices saying anything?
Do some real things for the Jews. Don't do counter protests to ICE.
No.
Go, if they're talking about coming to Jewish neighborhoods, which they are going to be doing this Shabbat, be prepared to physically defend your synagogue. That doesn't mean show up with a bunch of flags and signs about Palestine. It means show up with weapons, people. Stop playing fucking games.
Yeah, show up. Show up. It's that time. If you're out there and you're kidding and you're boog, the next time they come into your fucking neighborhood, you need to go out there and you need to stand up because this has gone past it. Because now they've infiltrated the activism throughout the entire country, and there's no other help. Nobody's coming to help you guys. You're all falsely thinking that their police are going to help you. The government.
Slogan,
we voted
Jews
for
fight
Donald
back,
Trump, a guy who puts a golf course where they have Sharia law. You know, you guys wake the fuck up, man. Wake the fuck up. You're not thinking about what's going on. Keep your picture.
I know it's been dark after October 7th, and you look around and you go, anybody who's Jewish and pro-Israel, I want to feel united with them. But there are opportunists in the midst of this who specifically are trying to hurt you. Just like those Arab pages that were Arab pro-Zionists, got 1 million followers and started posting anti-Zionist shit about the evil regime and how we kill the Palestinian children, supposedly. All this shit, it's all a fucking setup. You gotta be careful. You need to look at who is who. Fake profiles with no faces. Notice Ron doesn't put his face on any of these Batar profiles, but yet when somebody needs to interview Batar, who do they talk to? Ron. The other guy left, probably might have found out some of this shit about Ron and didn't want to continue. We don't know why his leadership keep leaving.
Well, if you're tuning into this podcast and you think, I want to check them out, they play music, see what they're up to. I'll never play music again as long as this is going on.
This is who's working in the music industry?
This is why I can't get a job in it. I'm not
Because we're not
fighting to get
into
into
porn
that.
and drugs
No.
and Girls Gone Wild
And I'm
and
not fighting,
fucking
and I'm not
Obama
fighting my
chia pet
hardest.
with the hair.
I'm not fighting my hardest to get into that.
By the way, does anybody realize all they donated this money to Batar and that he donated thousands and thousands he donated thousands of dollars to a Democrat. Democrat. They donated to a Democrat.
Yeah, you saw that. Richie Torres, right?
Richie Torres might be a nice guy, but you still are donating to the Democratic Party. For fuck's sake, you're not donating. They're going to use it for the other guy who hates Israel.
Well, so anyway, it's up to all people with conscience to wake the fuck up and decide what the hell they're going to think about doing here, because New York City needs a completely new thing going up. We're going to need to wait, because like, look at, let's talk about the other guy too, Shai Devanai or whatever his name is.
Another
He's
example.
a two-state solution guy. How can he be two-state solution, bro?
What two states? There's
no
already
two
two
states.
states. There was Jordan.
You are
and there
not
was
giving
Israel.
them
That's
a
two,
state.
That's one too
They
many.
can't have a state named for Rome. You can't do that. We're not going to restart Rome.
Also,
it's not happening.
Let's be
and
realistic.
If you believe in a two-state solution,
the
you're just as
guy
fucked up as the
started
Charles
out
guy.
in self-interest, protecting his own job and his own freedom of movement on the campus. He was dealing personally with these people, and they hated him because they just knew he was an Israeli. They didn't know shit about his views and all that. They didn't know. He just knew he was Israeli. So he's a libtard Israeli, turns out. And he's one of these, supports all the protests against Netanyahu and all this, basically Euro Biden for Israel shit. And people are all out here acting butthurt. Like, he was a liberal the whole time. When you're going to realize that anybody on the left side doesn't care about us. They reject God. They reject the Torah. What is the Torah? The basis of Jewish identity. Even if you're not a religious Jew, you must realize the importance of the Torah in our culture. If you say, I reject the Torah, you reject the Jews, because the Jews would not exist without the Torah. We became a nation by accepting the Torah at Sinai. This is not debatable. This is not my opinion. These are things that it said. There was a small family. They were all descended from Abraham. And then we became a mighty nation at Sinai. We became a nation because we accept the Torah.
It's pretty simple. It is. To us, it's like we're so tired of this shit because it's been going on for us for a long time. But it's so simple to look at this for what it is. And the fact that other people can't, we need to pray for them, for fuck's sake. Because look how bad they are at this. That means that when this is worse than the punk scene, where you're going to see people get hurt. And why are they going to get hurt? Because they don't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
They don't know how to protect themselves from something they don't even understand.
So,
and also, if you're a civic-minded Jewish organization and you're in New York City, you need to do something more positive, get people involved in that do go out and do these types of street activism.
In the meantime, this weekend are these No Kings Day protests. Instead of doing stupid stuff like Batar says to go out and counter protest them, I recommend that you read the complete anti-Antifa handbook.
You can find a free copy.
You can find a free copy in our Telegram. If you're not a Telegram user, you can order the print book, and if you send me a screenshot of your receipt, I'll send you the PDF immediately, so you can be aware and prepared for their tactics before the riots reach your neighborhood.
Well, the mystery gang strikes again, and we just took the mask off the monster, and again, it's turkey.
Again,
we keep dealing with these aggressive cockroaches that keep wanting to keep coming at our food and our goods and stuff. I guess that's what they're doing it for, because why? I don't know why you fuck around with a bunch of sleeping bears and shit, because it's stupid. That's basically what they're doing. Terrassian has been warned, okay? And this podcast is going to sit here, and we're not going to take it down, because if you come and fuck around like that in the activism
is he going to return the Turkish money? Is he going to return the porno money? Is he going to return the Girls Gone Wild money? Is he going to unconnect himself to Diddy somehow? I don't think any of that's going to happen. If that all happens, then I'll take it down. But otherwise, in reality, here in the real world where this shit is real and you can't erase it, no, we're not taking it down. So, yeah, good night, folks. Hope you enjoyed the little info shop.